Howdy y'all, it's Jake. I'm finally back with 4 new reviews. The first of which is going to be Rango. You know, there's a tale in the Old West about sweet tea. Some say it's the magical elixir of life. Some will agree with that. I just want to preface this all with saying that March was a pretty busy month for me, so I couldn't really get around to making reviews. I was pretty busy working on other things, but finally I have some time, so I'm going to go ahead and do them all. So let's go ahead and start out with the voice acting in Rango. Johnny Depp plays the main star, who is entitled Rango, and I remember when I first saw the poster at my movie theater, it was right next to a poster for Pirates of the Caribbean 4. So I thought it was funny to joke with my friends like, hey, that's not an animated movie. He's just in makeup again. For what it's worth, the chameleon actually did look good. But anyways, for voice acting, Johnny Depp does a great job with his Western voice that he does for the movie. He does speak in regular American accent too, although I'm not a very good key for that since, I've got kind of a southern flang in mind. But anyway, he does a really good job with his Western accent, especially since he's from Kentucky, which I just found out recently. Everybody else who does voice acting in this movie did an absolutely great job. So yeah, just great job for as far as voice acting in this movie. Story. The story in this movie was pretty dang good, actually. It had me on the edge of my seat at times. It was pretty well put together, and I liked it. Especially when a certain character came in later on in the movie. Now, I do have this to say about the story. I believe that it's good for a movie to be all sorts of different genres if it can. Maybe not try to fit in as many genres, but usually a good duo of 2 different genres. Horror, action, comedy, drama, stuff like that. It's good when it works, and when the movie knows what it wants to be right from the get-go. Personally, for me, I felt like Rango was trying to figure out what kind of movie it wanted to be for a good portion of the movie. And it kind of ties in because, spoilers, it kind of ties in because the character Rango is trying to figure out who he is at the beginning of the movie. So it kind of ties in, but it could have been pulled off a little bit better. You could have still had the character trait with Rango without it actually being part of the movie. The movie could have known from the beginning what kind of movie it wanted to be, and I wouldn't have felt so uncomfortable in the theater. It wasn't unwatchable, not at all. I had a great time watching the movie, but still, it made me uncomfortable for a good portion of the movie. Not super uncomfortable, but just kind of naggy. But for what I can say about the movie, it's definitely a good Western. A good animated Western at that. As far as the comedy, there was definitely some funny parts, but at some points it actually did feel kind of forced. I don't know, I guess some people are just kind of being blissfully ignorant about it. Especially since apparently the movie does a lot of really good homages to older films. Now, I don't know what all those homages are, but I know one very blatant one that happens right in the story near the end. Basically, it's an homage to Clint Eastwood as his character of the Man with No Name in the Man with No Name trilogies, which is fistful of dollars for a few dollars more in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. All of which I've seen, all of which I really, really love. So when I saw an animated Clint Eastwood up on screen, I just got super happy in the theater. I was like, yes! Especially since I had just recently seen those movies too. So, overall, good story. Pretty good story. Settings. I like the settings in this movie. Animated films tend to be pretty good when it comes to setting, especially in this kind of area. It's cool how it starts out in just the back of the car with a chameleon in his tank. And then really easily and really quickly, it just kind of segues into you feeling like you're really in a Western kind of movie. And that's awesome. I like that a lot. So, and everything looked really good too, so no complaints there. Very good job on the settings. Finally, music. Now, of course, we all know about the Al Mariachi Band, and they did a good job, actually. They were part of the comedy, and they did pretty good. The jokes didn't really fall flat. They just could have hit a little bit better, but, it's still good, and I like their music. The rest of it was kind of action movie styled music, but it wasn't too bland. basically what I'm trying to say is good job on this movie for making some of the music actually memorable. So finally, it's about time for me to give my final verdict of this movie. I would highly recommend film students definitely to go see this movie. Animation students definitely go see this movie. People who want to get into voice acting even, go see this movie. There's some pretty good examples of how to pull off certain accents. They don't tell you in the movie like this is how you do it, but it's kind of a good study in it. So for my final verdict of Rango, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's a great movie and everybody should go watch it at least once. If you want to, you can buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD, but if you enjoyed it once in the theaters and that's all you needed, that's okay. So, now it's time to head on to review number 2.